Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Ross. I'm a photographer and video maker from Northern Ireland. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So a couple of YouTube videos previous to this one, I shared a few photographs and videos from a recent trip I took to Donegal at the beginning of January in 2024. One thing I didn't mention in that previous video is that I also brought with me a film camera loaded with a roll of film to shoot up in Donegal while I was up there. It's now about a month since that trip up to Donegal and I've got my scans back from the lab, so I just wanted to share with you some of the results from this roll. The film camera I brought with me was this Konica C35 FD. This is a new purchase of mine. Well, I got it in about November, but it's sat on a shelf and hasn't been used yet. So I thought this trip to Donegal would be the perfect opportunity to test this camera out. The Konica C35 is also called the Konica Auto S3. I don't know, it's like different countries or something call them different names, but this one is the C35 FD. There are a few main reasons why I bought the Konica C35 in the first place. Number one is that it's a rangefinder style camera, which I love. And number two is that it's really small, so you can just stick the lens cap on, throw it into your pocket or slip it in your camera bag, whatever, and you'd barely know it was there. And number three is that the fixed lens on this camera is a 38mm f1.8, which is so handy, you know, to have that 1.8 on this camera. I did shoot a few frames on this roll at 1.8 because, as you'll see, the film stock I used had a really low ISO. I found that the frames that I shot at 1.8 with this camera were pretty soft. You obviously have to nail the focus because you have a way smaller area that's in focus shooting at such a wide aperture. So a couple of them I maybe missed focus or they were just soft. You definitely get a bit of vignetting with this lens, especially at the wide apertures, but you know, it's a film camera. It's, I don't know how old this is, maybe 70s or 80s or something, but it's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be like, you know, a digital camera, thousands of pounds. So that's the film camera I decided to bring with me to Donegal, the Konica C35 FD, and the film stock I decided to load it up with is this here, Flic Film Elektra 100. So it's Kodak Aerocolor 4 film, re-spooled by Flic Film. If you don't know about Kodak Aerocolor, basically it's Kodak's surveillance film that they shoot out of airplanes or something, and then companies like Flic Film or Washi or Santa Color, they buy up this film in bulk and then package it for 35mm cameras. Even before shooting my first roll of film last year, I knew about Kodak Aerocolor 4 because the colors that this film stock creates are just incredible. The saturation is through the roof, and the key feature of Aerocolor is the red tones that it creates. Hopefully you'll agree with me when you see these images coming up that Kodak Aerocolor 4 was a pretty good choice of film stock for shooting landscapes in Donegal. So here are a few images from that roll. So there you go, there's a few frames from my roll of Flic Film Elektra 100 on my Konica C35 FD. shot in Donegal at the beginning of 2024. I'm no landscape photographer, but I knew that Donegal was such a beautiful place that I wanted to bring a film camera and shoot a roll there. And as I said earlier, I'm really happy with my choice of film stock. I think Kodak Aerocolor 4 might just be the perfect film stock for capturing those Irish landscapes. My only negative point would be that this film stock is rated at ISO 100, which is pretty low when you're shooting in Ireland in overcast January. It was just like overcast the whole time, so that limited the amount of light that was available. And then the film stock was only ISO 100, so I had to open the aperture quite wide. I think about half the frames were also shot at a 60th of a second, which is something I would never do when shooting with a digital camera. But I just held it really still and shot at a 60th of a second and prayed that the results would come out. Some came out how I expected, some came out better than expected, but some came out blurry, but that's what you're gonna get with a roll of film, I guess. So yeah, I'm looking forward to shoot another roll of Kodak Aerocolor 4 in the future. I've got a little roll of Wash EX that I'm excited to use. I'm just gonna remind myself to try and shoot it on a bright sunny day when the low ISO won't be much of a problem. If you're watching this video and you've shot with Kodak Aerocolor in the past and you have any tips for me or any thoughts on the photographs I've shared in this video, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback. Anyway, wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in another video soon.